over 30 years, Point of Grace has shared music, faith, and friendship with listeners across the country. Now Denise, Lee, and Shelley are inviting you into their circle. Welcome to Circle of Friends, the podcast.
It's Point of Grace.
Each week they're talking real life, current events, stories of true friendship, wisdom from God's Word, and all their favorite things. If you're looking for a little company, a few laughs, and a lot of Jesus to hold it together, Circle of Friends, the podcast is waiting for you. Subscribe now wherever you listen or watch podcasts, and circle up with Point of Grace.
One of these men is a highly respected New York attorney, Lucas A. Ferrara. The other is a self-proclaimed man of the people, known as Mert Roberts. Their aim is to discuss the hottest issues impacting our city, state, and nation. Fasten your seatbelts. Shake it off with Mert and Lucas. Live starts now on AM 970. The Answer.
What's that one called, my friend?
This is called Real Estate, from music for video.
Real estate. Now, that certainly relates to what we'll be talking about in a few minutes. But before we get there, we hope everyone is safe and sound as we undergo the wrath of the great Snowmageddon of 2026. We have an entire staff here at AM 970 sleeping in the studio overnight to ensure that whole program gets out to you, our loyal listeners. How are you holding up, Bert? Everything good by you?
Well, I'm lucky enough to not be in that mad house called New York right now. I'm down south. You know, it was supposed to be bad here, but I've been lucky to escape the treachery, the snow, the ice
well, good
that
for
the
you,
people of New York are currently suffering through. So I'm lucky.
Yeah, but I don't think Alex is as fortunate. Alex, how are things by you? You're in New York City.
Of course, I'm doing a couple overnights this weekend. But you know what? It is my 10th or 11th year with Snowmageddon around this part, so I'm used to doing the overnights in the city to make sure our stations work. So I'm kind of used to this by now.
Oh, you're a trooper. And Gabby, of course, she's home safe and sound, right?
Yeah, I'm getting good reports from her, so she's doing okay.
We love you, Gabby. We miss you. Now, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't ask about the great Ashley Ferrante, who is working Master Control. She, too, is working Snowmageddon 2026. Ashley, where are you?
I'm doing good. I'm keeping warm. There's blankets in the studio.
Oh, well.
And we made sure the pantry's stocked, so we're got some
we
food,
have.
too.
Do they give you pillows and air mattresses, or are you just supposed to sleep on that dirty
I got to give
carpet?
credit to Matt Sambolin, our ops manager. He, with the blessing of our GM, Laura Schaefer, went out and got a lot of linen and blankets and all that to make sure we're safe here. So.
Oh, that is wonderful. Thanks to everybody in AM 970 for taking care of our friends here in the studio. Let's hope we all survive this weather emergency unscathed. But now back to real estate. Now, as we all know, President Trump is pushing to consummate his biggest real estate deal ever. And of course, that's taking the form of acquiring Greenland, the world's largest island, and it's a semi-autonomous territory of the Kingdom of Denmark. Now, what began years earlier, Mert, as a headline-grabbing curiosity, has now evolved into a full-scale geopolitical initiative, one that now includes diplomatic overtures, cost estimates, and according to some reports, the possibility of military action. And the president's been pretty explicit about his intentions. He told reporters on January 9th, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. That framing, Greenland as a strategic shield against rival powers, has become a backbone of Trump's argument, and the National Security Team has echoed it repeatedly. Now, before I ask for your comment, House Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt, that's the White House Press Secretary, Carolyn Levitt, stated that Trump views acquiring Greenland as essential, quote, to deter Russian and Chinese aggression in the Arctic region. What do you think, Mert, about this whole Michigas?
Well, if you would allow me to do this, I would like to hear Alex and Ashley's opinion before I go, because we were talking about this earlier, and I'm really interested in what the people who are working hard, showing up when all the snow.
Who are sleeping on the floor? You're going to defer to that?
So I'd like to give them an opportunity to speak their mind before I go, if they're.
Look, I am not always going to agree with stuff like this, but at this point, we didn't go to war, and I think we have to protect Greenland from China and Russia. And furthermore, as Lucas alerted to, this has not been the first time a U.S. president has attempted to buy it. Now, I understand Greenland's upset. I understand Denmark specifically is upset. But look, he wants to protect, I guess, our interests, our global interests, and he may not have everybody on board. But I'm starting to think that if we don't go to war over it, I'm okay with it. And Ashley's here too.
Before Ashley comments, I want to respond to what Alex just said a few minutes ago. Back in 1946, for our listeners who did not know this, President Harry Truman offered Denmark $100 million for the island of Greenland. So Trump is the first modern president to pursue the acquisition, but it has been attempted before. Ashley, what do you think? Should Trump go for Greenland? Should we go for Greenland?
No. I don't understand why we're doing it either. Why we have other things to worry about, like our own country? Why are we worrying about others?
Well, because it's part of his Golden Dome plan, and he's saying that Greenland is important for strategic purposes, for our protection, for our country's protection.
You know what?
That's
what Green I want to worry about? The economy. It's getting kind of struggling here, and we're buying other things and doing other things. And I want to worry about us.
Okay. Well, you know what? That's a good point you just made, but I'm gonna break it down like this, because I really thought about this, and I don't blame Trump for what he's doing, because there was a great president, probably one of the greatest presidents of all time, probably top 5, named Barack Obama.
Oh, please! Where did you get this top 5 from, please?
And this man,
do you have a song? Where are the judges? Would you give him a song for that?
And this man, Barack Obama, gave everybody access to health insurance. So he's going to go down in history.
The judges were a little late, but that's a response to Barack Obama.
He's going to go
to the top 5. Great, please.
And Obamacare wasn't that great either. Let me just put it.
He's going to go down in history as one of the greatest presidents because of what he's done. So what is Trump? How can you follow up such a great president?
Oh, please.
It's very difficult. He doesn't have anything. He doesn't have anything. What happened to that wall? That wall is incomplete. What happened to deporting all the illegals? That's going horribly with all these blunders that they got going on, all these killings that they got going on.
Excuse me, don't say that. You did
Trump.
That's not fair.
Trump doesn't have anything. He's trying to do anything to create a legacy because nothing has stuck. The only significant thing that has happened under Trump's watch is the pandemic, and he didn't do such a good job of handling that.
Oh, so you're going to blame him for the pandemic too? You got to be kidding.
I'm blaming him because he was the president.
Actually, he's the one that defunded the pandemic relief. So
see. So what we're looking at here is somebody who's trying to do anything.
And that was on Bush. Bush actually started that, actually.
Right. So what Trump is trying to do is to leave a legacy behind. And what better way to leave a legacy behind than to be able to claim, we bought Alaska, but I am the modern day. Whoever president
bought. We already have Alaska.
No. Listen to what I'm saying, Ashley. Whatever president bought Alaska, they had that under there as one of their accomplishments. So Trump, what accomplishments has he done? This would be his major accomplishment. I successfully added to the United States of America. So that is what he's trying to do. He's trying to create a legacy, and he's trying to do it by any means necessary. So now he's become desperate. He's going to go try to buy Greenland. That stupid wall is what happened to that? What happened to the wall?
He doesn't need the wall because I don't know if you've been reading the reports, but the influx has lowered substantially as opposed to the millions that came in during your friends Kamala and Biden administration. Sleepy Joe and
so just think about what you
Kamala.
Think about what you just said there. That wall was a dumb idea to begin with, because if all it took was stricter regulations, what's the point of even starting construction? So we wasted money on that. We wasted money on who knows what else, all these tax breaks, and that's the only thing Trump has done. So he's trying, like I keep saying, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but it's very clear. He is trying to place his name on something so that his legacy sticks. I mean, what did he do with that building, the Kennedy Center? He's trying to place his name on something so he can go down in history.
Trumpland. That has a nice.
I'm waiting for Trumpland. I'm waiting for him to rename it.
I would like to go to Trumpland. I think it would be nice, and all the cocktails.
He has that already. It's the towers. Anyway.
That's true. By the way, across every major survey, Americans reject the idea of acquiring Greenland. That's interesting, right? The intensity of the opposition varies depending on whether you're talking about a purchase or military action, but the direction is still the same.
It's tough. It's tough for Trump.
Decidedly negative.
It's tough. Listen to me real quick before you keep going. It's tough for Trump because I'm not even going to critique the guy and say that he's a bad president. I just think he's a president with nothing to do. He doesn't have any original ideas that are going to change the country. So there's nothing for him to do. He's basically sitting there with no ideas. So they're coming up with all this nonsense. So it's really rough. I feel sorry for Trump because there is nothing for him to actually do that he can think of. So continue. It's just rough for Trump. I feel sorry for Trump.
Have you seen the stock market?
The stock market always goes up. Don't talk to me about the stock market because I look at this. The stock market's
going up astronomically.
I do this. I look at this on a daily basis. The stock market goes up.
Inflation is dropping, according to the most recent reports. Not under Biden, but under Trump. Do you see the lowering numbers of illegal immigrants coming into the country?
Nah, I don't see that.
No, you don't. Okay,
I don't see that.
Check it out. But under the Quinnipiac poll, which was taken January 8th through the 12th of this year, 86% of Americans agree with Ashley, and they oppose taking Greenland by military force. So a large number, 86%, don't want to talk force. Only 9% agree with military action. And by the way, 55% of Americans oppose purchasing Greenland. Only 37% support a purchase. So the number is exceedingly negative, and Americans are anti-Greenland. Yet the rationale, to me, makes sense. There are precious minerals that we need for defense, for our cars, for our technology. We need it. China controls these minerals. We don't have access like China has. Greenland would solve that. And from a military perspective, for his Golden Dome
like
plan.
Conquistadors?
Excuse me?
Doesn't it sound like a lot like conquistadoring type of thing? We're taking over someone else's resources?
Well, he's trying to buy it for $1 trillion. I think the latest proposal, they're working on a framework. I'm not sure what the framework involves. No one is quite sure. But I think the number that's being bantered about is something like $1 trillion. So it wouldn't be these.
We could use that $1 trillion. Why?
But let me tell you something. Actually, I'm responding to your question. There's something like 56,000 people, only 56,000 people on Greenland. They would end up all doing very nicely.
Oh, right now I'm pretty sure they're doing pretty nicely, right? Because Greenland's part of Denmark, and they're pretty much, I think, the number one, or at least the top 5 happiest countries. So I think they're okay. We're not.
They would do better with a couple of million each, right? $1 trillion.
I don't think they care about that.
I think they do. I think that's why this deal is going to happen. Look, NATO made the framework happen this week. There's a reason for that. So.
Well, you're off. It's not $1 million each. It's 100,000 each. So they're not too excited about that.
Where did you get that number from?
CNN, Fox. They were talking about they were going to pay each citizen like $150,000 each, and that's why a lot of them were not like too thrilled.
That doesn't sound like a great number to me.
Yeah, because it's like it wasn't going to be $1 million, and it was only like 700 billion or something. The last numbers I seen, but nevertheless, we already have access to. being able to put bases and stuff over there. We already have access to all that stuff, the minerals and stuff over there in Greenland. So all these little diversions that the Trump administration are trying to use to justify buying Greenland, it doesn't work, because we all have access to Google, and we can look up these traditional documents in history that have already been strucken up and allow us to put bases over there to defend against Russia, China, or whatever threat that you anticipate. So what Trump is trying to do once again, and I'm glad a lot of Republicans are pushing back against this, because they usually don't. They usually just, tuck their tails and say nothing. But a lot of Republicans, I've heard them say this, they said, Trump is going too far. We already have access over there. We can already go over there and get the minerals. And, we think that the people of Greenland are not too thrilled about Donald Trump trying to impose his will and make them a United States territory, because I think they like Ashley said, I think they like their way of doing things. They don't want to become McDonald's. They don't want to become Disney. They want to be Denmark.
They don't want to become
Disney. What about Disney? Hold on.
The 51st state. That's what they don't want to be. Look, if you look at the numbers, 85%, according to Varian Group poll, 85% of Greenlanders do not want to become part of the United States. Only 6% support it. And, by the way, 56% would vote for independence from Denmark. So basically, if a referendum were held today, the majority want to be an independent country rather than being held by Greenland or acquired by the United States.
And see, when you read those numbers, that makes sense, because you said each person would get $1 million. No, they're not getting $1 million each.
Well, if it goes to $1 trillion, the number I heard was up to $1 trillion, and 100,000. No one's going to jump at 100,000. I agree with you. 100,000.
And that 6% are probably the bums who they fallen on their luck or whatever, and they need some money. So they're like 100,000. Yeah, we'll take that. But for the most part, Greenland, I think they're doing just fine. We can already go over there. In fact, we removed bases from there when we were already loaded up. We had like 20 bases at one point. We took all those bases away. Now we're down to like 1 or 2. And we could always increase those numbers because we have some kind of agreement. You nerds out there can go dig up what that actual agreement is, but I know one exists because I've heard a bunch of smart people talk about this stuff. And Alex might know what this agreement is, but it already exists, Lucas. So when you bring up golden domes or whatever they want to talk about, security purposes and resources and minerals, all we got to do is negotiate for the minerals. We don't have to go buy. It would make more sense to buy the minerals than to buy the entire Greenland.
So let me ask you this, Mert.
Hey, you know what, Mert? Can I just respond to that? And I'm sure Dottie Herman, who has the real estate show on Saturday, would have a comment about this. But it's always better to buy than to rent. So that's the bottom line, my friend, because over time, it ends up being a very good deal. And I think, does America need Greenland? The way Trump is framing it, it seems like we do. The shipping lanes, we want to protect against China and Russia. The Golden Dome is important to our national security. Hey, it makes sense. Do I think it should be done militarily? No. But if they're willing to be bought out, hey, that's the art of the deal. And that's what Trump does best. Well, this much is clear, my friend. Americans do not want don't want to buy Greenland. Greenlanders do not want to be acquired. So given the fractured world in which we live, the Greenland question has produced something rare, a shared understanding across borders. The public on both sides of the Atlantic view the idea as not a good one, and the numbers tell the story, and the story is simple. The Greenland question is settled everywhere, except, of course, in President Trump's mind. Now, of course, we'd like you to be mindful that you're listening to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas Live. We're truly honored to have you along with us for the ride. This is episode 81. Come on, let me hear an amen. Amen. Our studio audience braved the snow. Are you feeding them cocoa? Is anybody giving them cocoa?
We actually have coconut creamer. I guess we're going to have to get that.
There we go. This is Lucas Farrar without you. we're nothing. You've heard from my great co-host, Mert Roberts. You heard from Ashley Ferrantes, working Master Control. And, of course, you heard from our good friend, Alex Garrett, who's producing and engineering. When we come back, we'll have a special guest for you, Kenneth Paul Callison, who's going to talk about the way to world peace. So don't you dare drift. Don't wander. When we come back, we're going to shake it off with Paul Callison. You'll get answers to some questions if you're searching for peace.
A New York City law firm has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate, on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Now's the time to treat yourself. Step into a quality comfort shoe, boots, sneakers, even house slippers. Air Comfort Shoes Long Island has it all. All sizes and widths, sizes 4 to 16, narrow, medium, wide, extra wide, and extra, extra wide. We ship it free and return in-store, online, or by phone order. Visit aircomfortshoes.com. That's aircomfortshoes.com. Or call 1-800-681-SHOE. That's 1-800-681-SHOE or 1-800-681-7463. That's 1-800-681-7463 or aircomfortshoes.com. Shoes, boots, and sneakers. All major brands including SAS, Hoka, New Balance, Echo, Riker, Piccolinos, Ara, Timberland, Dunham, Springstep, Monroe, Drew, Mephisto, Brooks, Samuel Hubbard, and much more. The lowest price guaranteed. Life is a journey. Wear comfortable shoes. 1-800-681-SHOE. 1-800-681-SHOE or 1-800-681-7463. That's 1-800-681-7463. That's 1-800-681-SHOE or aircomfortshoes.com. Home of the world's finest footwear.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher. I want to personally invite you to join me along with the great Scott Jennings for a powerful week on the Gulf of America cruise, November 14th through the 21st, 2026. We'll cruise through crystal blue waters, visit incredible ports like Half Moon Key and Cozumel, and enjoy the first-class hospitality of a luxurious cruise ship. All week long, you'll have time to meet with us. The meet and greets, the photo ops, the Q&A sessions, and the chance to hear behind-the-scenes stories you'll never hear on air. You'll also be immersed in inspiring keynotes and in-depth sessions as we enjoy real connection designed to strengthen your resolve as we mark the 250th anniversary of our great nation. Don't miss this. Sign up today. We look forward to cruising the Caribbean with like-minded patriots who care deeply about our country. Reserve your stateroom now. Text the keyword cruise to 94878. Just text the word cruise to 94878 or visit mikeonline.com. That's mikeonline.com. Click on the Gulf of America cruise banner and we'll see you there.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation honors America's heroes. Heroes like U.S. Army Warrant Officer 1, Stuart Wainment. Valuing liberty, freedom, and service, Stuart joined the Army. He graduated from Army Aviation School and received many honors and awards during his distinguished career, until a mid-air collision during a training exercise took Stuart's life. He leaves behind his wife, Kira, and their 3 sons. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family's home. The kindness of people across the country alleviated Kira's financial burden and brought support for her children's future needs. She is grateful that her children can grow up in a safe place, supported by family members who keep Stuart's memory alive. Kira wants you to know that her husband was a good, hardworking man, an amazing father who put his all into everything he did. You can help more families like Stuart's. Donate $11 a month and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970, The Answer.
That's got an interesting beat, Alex. What's that called?
All right, this is called Show Me the Way by Aberrant Reality.
Showing us the way. You can bet our next guest is up to doing that. Kenneth Paul Callison is the author of The Way to World Peace, an idea whose time has come. He's the founder of Allied Beauty Experts out in Denver, Colorado. Callison built a nationally recognized company by developing a state-of-the-art online insurance processing system and leading initiatives across medical technology, research and development, engineering, FDA process work, contract negotiation, and large-scale business management. He holds 3 patents in the beauty and medical industries and is a visionary leader. Kenneth is committed to creating a world free from militarization, poverty, the escalating global water crisis, and the widespread environmental deterioration. Callison believes humanity is capable of profound transformation and that the time to act is now. Well, there's no better time than to speak with our friend right now. Welcome to the program, Kenneth.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So last segment, before you joined us, Kenneth, we were talking about Trump expressing an interest in acquiring Greenland by way of purchase or by force. Is that a path to world peace, in your opinion? I know it's a bad setup, but it's in the news.
Well, there's always some political move or change or controversy in the news. I think politics thrives on that. So that won't change the course for humanity either.
Well,
make it easier or harder.
Let me ask a question, Lucas, about...
Okay, that's the Birdinator, okay, my friend? That's Bird Roberts. Go ahead, Bird.
Because I'm interested in conflict, global conflict, all that stuff. But let me ask you this. Is it possible that certain conflicts are necessary in order to ensure that everybody else gets to have a peaceful existence? Would that be something that makes sense?
It can be on rare occasion, and especially in the past. Going forward, it can't be our method of solving problems. But there are instances that are temporary, that in defense, if you've got a warlord that's decimating a village or whatever, or even a large government. So, yeah, there are times. But it shouldn't be our standard response to everything.
So the question is, what incentive do human beings have to change that? Because there's always somebody out there who feels like they've been slighted. And it might not be, I'm going to shoot you or blow you up with a bomb, but it might be, I'm going to launch cyber warfare, or we're going to launch tariffs, or we're going to do something. Like, how do we, reconcile that if we can't give everybody, $1 million in paradise where everybody can sit back and say, hey, we don't have a reason to be upset about anything? What is going to make us make that mental shift where we say, hey, let's everybody just chill out and just be happy we're all alive?
Well, first off, peace is not the absence of conflict. It's the management of conflict, whereas war is the absence of management. Okay?
Right.
So to make this change, to really the birth of humanity unto itself, we have to change our consciousness and our rather addictive habits. So there is a way to do that. We have to be motivated enough, and I think we are, because I think we realize that things are spinning out of control. We have some existential threats that if we don't do something about them, they will get the best of us.
Like what? What are some of these? What are some of these threats?
Well, first off, a third of the world lives in dire poverty.
Right.
The other 2/3 of the planet develops weapons to kill each other. We've got, at any given time, about 30 wars going on the planet.
That many is 30 wars? Is 30 wars going on right now?
That's kind of been, that's about right. It's always kind of been around that figure for many decades. there's an impending water crisis that we really haven't begun to address. And it's projected that about a year 2040, up to half of the population won't have access to clean water. Now, that'll start a war. And then there's also the collapse of the ecosystem. So it's much more than just global warming or climate change. We are poisoning the earth. The collapse of the ecosystem, we've probably got about 40 years to try to turn that around, or at least stop it, because at some point we're going to pass the point of no return. If we kill the ocean, we're toast.
So what made you start thinking about this? Because this is a broad topic, but I'm interested. What is your history that made you start thinking about this? Because a lot of people are thinking about their daily lives, or they want to be a basketball player, entertainer, or something like that, or they're thinking about inner city violence, especially if you're American. What?
Well, we do. It's natural for individuals to get consumed with their daily lives, but this kind of change, we have to have some belief in.
But I'm asking you, what made you
in our future?
What made you develop this mindset? I'm asking you
that.
Well,
I was, from a child, from a pup, I was raised in the sciences and metaphysics and philosophy and so forth. At a young age, because we were born in 55, so late 50s and the early 60s, there were air raid drills where we had to hide under our desks routinely to protect ourselves from nuclear annihilation.
I remember those days. I remember those days.
Like that would actually do anything.
Right.
But I had spent many, many years researching war, concepts of war, both from metaphysical and a quantum mechanics point of view. My first book was on nuclear war, or the metaphysics of war. I had corresponded quite a bit with Carl Sagan and Linus Pauling, and Carl used some of my research in one of his books. I did a national survey on nuclear war, which was, I don't think anything like that's been done. I did that back in 1988. There's some really dramatic results, published an article in the Journal of Defense and Diplomacy. So I've always kind of been in this arena. Back in the 62 in the Cuban Missile Crisis, you're familiar with the doomsday clock?
Yes. We're like at 11:58 right now, aren't we?
Yeah. At the time of the Cuban Missile Crisis, it was 7 minutes till midnight.
Right.
It's now 90. It's now 90 seconds to midnight.
Ooh,
yes.
That gives you a perspective.
Wow.
Right. So let me ask you this: have you? Because it sounds like, and I'm not trying to throw a shot at you, but it sounds like you're fascinated with bombs and anything that goes boom and trouble and all that stuff. So it sounds like you in a weird way, you would probably be one of the best at going to war if you were a leader in the military or something like that. It sounds like you might be somebody who could direct people on, all right, go blow these people up and leave those people
I think I could solve the war probably better, but I'm much more fascinated with the human potential and our behavior and why we do the things we do and how to progress how to evolve into a different species.
Don't you think creating an atom bomb is very, it's a high level of thinking to be able to transform regular material into something that powerful? Isn't that like a form of reaching human potential? Isn't that a sign of, clearly we're super intelligent to be able to develop these things? So hasn't, our destructive mentalities pushed us forward?
Well, they may have provided scientific advancements, but we haven't advanced. Technology is not going to solve the longing in our heart. In fact, one of Einstein's quote was that technological progress is like an axe in the hands of a pathological criminal.
Well, I'm not sure. They got AI dolls that, there's a lot of people.
There's another threat, but, that people are kind of wrapped up with right now.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm going to ask you.
That we just don't understand is the loss of joy.
Oh, my goodness.
Maybe it's not physical, but it is, I think, important.
We have to continue this conversation, Kenneth.
To.
Yes, let's discuss that after the break, Kenneth. The loss of joy. But we have to take a quick commercial break. But have no fear, Kenneth Callison will be rejoining us after these messages. His book, The Way to World Peace, is available on Amazon and Asia booksellers. For more information, visit his website, atimeforhumanity.org. Don't go away. We'll be back right after this.
40% of adults, both men and women, suffer from varicose or spider veins. And this is not just a cosmetic problem. If left untreated, varicose veins can lead to severe swelling, cramping, heavy bleeding, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, permanent paralysis, and worst case, blood clots, which can be life-threatening. But here's the good news. USA Vein Clinics offer plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up the problem. And the procedure is fast and simple. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-452-1593. That's 800-452-1593. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your varicose vein problems will not go away on their own. Call USA Vein Clinics today for free information on fast and easy solutions covered by most insurance, including Medicare. Call 800-452-1593. That's 800-452-1593. Call 800-452-1593 today.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
We can tell you about the incredible success we bring to local businesses, but it's better when it comes directly from our satisfied clients. Here's just one example.
After searching for a new vendor to handle my search marketing campaign, I contacted Salem Surround after seeing the great work they did for another restoration company in the different market. Their team of experts recommended a mix of multiple tactics designed to get my business the most quality leads at the lowest cost, making my marketing budget stretch further. In our first year partnering with Salem Surround, we recorded our best year to date, and I've told many people how blessed I was to find them. The representative answered the phone every time I called and quickly addressed any questions or concerns I had.
Let Salem Surround give you an absolutely free audit of your current marketing and show you what your competition is doing. Then, we come up with a personalized plan that's perfect for your needs. Google Salem Surround New York and let our marketing experts help you achieve real success. Remember to Google Salem Surround New York today.
This is Hugh Hewitt for Townhall.com. The first year of the second term of President Trump concluded on Tuesday this week, and only the most extreme of partisans will deny that 45-47 hung a lot of wins on the wall. A closed border, 8.25 peace negotiations, the one big beautiful bill, Operation Midnight Hammer in Iran, Operation Absolute Resolve in Venezuela, rising domestic oil and gas production, and the wonderful combination of falling inflation and rising wages. Most important to the world of his achievements in the first year back, President Trump is not only the commander-in-chief of the mightiest military in history, he demonstrated that he knows how to use it. President Trump has restored America's deterrence, a power that had been forfeited by President Biden in our collapse in Afghanistan. Iran, Islamist terrorists across Africa from Somalia to Nigeria, and Nicolas Maduro have all suffered devastating blows that punish them for behavior outside the guardrails that President Trump has set. American leadership is back.
Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970, The Answer.
Callison. He's a visionary leader dedicated to creating a world free from militarization, poverty, the escalating global water crisis, and widespread environmental deterioration. Grounded in the belief that humanity is capable of profound transformation, he argues that the time to act is now. His book, The Way to World Peace, an idea whose time has come, is available now at Amazon and other major booksellers. For more information about Kenneth and his work, please visit his website, timeforhumanity.org. We'll also post links to Kenneth and his book on our website, shakeitofflive.com. So, Kenneth, before the break, you were talking about the loss of joy, and that sounded profound, but I had to interrupt you for the commercial break. Could you please finish your thought?
Well, I think that's a threat. It may not be a physical threat, but I think it's something we want to pay attention to, because when you lose loss of belief in the future or ourselves, that will produce an anger, even if it's a subconscious anger. And we're going to have to deal with that if we can't find a way back to a positive experience.
And how do you suggest we do that? Is religion the answer? Because many people have lost faith. The service attendance has dropped in for many congregations, and all that other good stuff. Atheism is on the rise. Do you think that that's part of the problem? People being a-religious?
No, I don't. I think that over the thousands of years, religion is supposed to and has an objective of healing and making us feel positive about our lives and our neighbors and a belief in God and so forth. But there have been many, many, many religious wars that tend to be more violent than other wars. And it is kind of surprising that we kill each other because we disagree about God, but that is part of it. And in some respects, institutionalized religion is really the commercialization of spirituality. And I think we need...
finish. And we need what? Finish your thought, Kenneth. We need what?
Well, we need to become aware and enlightened, and we need to become empowered, and then we need to take action. And some of this awareness is an education, which this book is designed to do, because we have this mistaken belief that evolution creates intelligence. As we go through the eons, as time passes, we become smarter. But that's really not the way it works. Intelligence existed long before mankind was around. Intelligence is what created the universe. Intelligence is in every animal and plant and human beings. So as we avail ourselves of that, as we incorporate that intelligence into our being, into our soul, then we evolve. So evolution doesn't create intelligence. Intelligence creates evolution. And not only that, but evolution is not something that happens to us. It's something we are in charge of. So these kinds of realizations will help us get there.
But, before Mert asks you his question, because I interrupted Mert, what do you think about AI? People sort of have a faith in AI evolving and taking us to the next level. Do you have any faith in that?
Well, it's going to come, and it has some advantages, and there will be some economic advantages and disadvantages because it will change the entire workplace. The concern with AI on most people's part is that we will rely on it too much and it will control too much. I think the U.S. Defense Preparedness Agency had already indicated that they will be turning over a lot of the defense processes to AI. And my concern there is that AI can analyze and react so quickly we may not have time to reason. We're kind of cutting our time too short. And so we're going to have to manage that.
Yes, that's an understatement. Mert, did you have a question?
Yeah, I want to get some insight into how you think, because to me, it sounds like you might be anti-competition, because I think a lot of people are happy when they beat somebody or they win or they're first, they're the winner. And it sounds like you're kind of anti-competition, because a lot of things that drive conflict are people's drive and their want to be number one, to be the best, to be the strongest, to be the most feared.
And actually, I'm not anti-competition at all. I'm very much in favor of that, and capitalism and competition and so forth. So our governments around the planet do tell their citizens that, they're the best, they're the strongest, they're the most powerful country in the world, everybody else is wrong. So our governments do undertake that propaganda effort. But no, I'm very much in favor of competition. That doesn't mean we have to kill each other.
But I'm saying, like, how are people, like, if I want to be the best, that means somebody else has to accept that they've been defeated. And that's what usually leads to people getting frustrated, and they say this is not right, because it's very hard for people to lose. And, a lot of people are good at, or they can accept defeat and handle it maturely, but it's those that just can't handle being defeated that really, innovate, because they go back to the drawing board and they get creative and they get stronger and they come back and they say, I'm going to demolish you because I didn't like how you made me feel. How I felt when I lost. So it's my theory that, it's human suffering that really pushes us forward. So if we're all happy, if we're all feeling good, then this
kind of goes back to, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it kind of goes back to this philosophy that, world peace, that's for dreamers. You guys are just dreamers, you're unrealistic, and so forth. Well, dreamers are actually the ones that have produced most of the progress for mankind. The artists and poets and musicians and scientists and engineers. And we were told for a long time, don't sail on the ocean, you'll fall off the edge of the earth, and flight is impossible, and so forth. Almost every advancement, was at some time impossible. And now we're told peace is impossible. So it's the dreamers that have advanced mankind.
Well, I'll say this. What if I dream about, man, I wish everybody was Christian, or I wish everybody was Muslim. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to make that possible by any means necessary. So I think there's some people out there who might have some dreams that go in the opposite direction to go against other people. So I think you can run into, some conflict with dreamers. You got positive dreamers, you got negative dreamers. And a lot of times negative dreamers are very successful. I look at the media, I look at politics, how many politicians do, scandalous things, and it comes out later. Like, being a dreamer doesn't make you positive. I'm not trying to, down you. I'm just trying to, have an intelligent conversation with you. So I hope you're not being offended by me pushing back on.
Not at all. I enjoy challenging questions, but we don't understand the difference between power and force. Power is internal, and force is external. So there's this schism developing between those that are concerned with the threat of man versus those that are concerned with the threat to man. So some of this goes back to, and you will hear people say, well, that's just our nature. We're just violent by nature.
Right.
That's not true. Conflict is not our hereditary nature. It's an acquired mutation. It's born from a historical survival logic that really no longer serves us. We're actually spiritual beings that thrive on connection. We're not physical beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. Now, so we can unlearn hatred.
Amen.
But whatever seeds we plant, that will produce what we envision, whether that's hatred and war or whether that's cooperation. But our destiny lies in cooperation. There's this misconcept about survival of the fittest. People think that means survival of the strongest. That's not what it means. It means survival of the life that is best able to adapt. So there is a nuclear war. Cockroaches will probably be the fittest.
Right.
Yes, I've actually read that as well, which is frightening. What do you say to people who believe that peace is idealistic rather than realistic?
Well, I think it's both, actually. So we do have kind of an addictive nature to deterrence and the militarism of the world. And we're producing $72 million weapons an hour, $800 billion a year. And we have weaponized this planet way beyond what any cultural difference could justify. And that's a real danger.
Well,
but in many ways, it's also one of the more hopeful times.
And how's that?
We don't have to. Well, because our freedom is at hand. We have the opportunity to get out of this cycle that we're in.
Well, that's something I was going to ask you. Where have you seen this in the real world, where gives you hope that people can actually make this shift? Have you seen this in humanity on any level where you're like, see, it's possible?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, just look at Mahatma Gandhi and how he was able to defeat the brutal occupation by the British Empire in a nonviolent way on a very large scale. So, yeah, there are plenty of examples. Look at the teachings of Christ or Buddha. So there are plenty of examples of peace and prosperity and kindness that have accomplished a tremendous amount. Perhaps if we would follow the teachings of Buddha and Christ and Gandhi, we wouldn't have the problems that we have.
Kenneth, that's amazing stuff. Let's talk. We have only a few minutes left. Let's talk about your book. What are some of the messages you want people to take away from your book? What are your hopes that you'd like to share with the listeners?
There's, of course, several chapters that go into strategy and philosophy and metaphysics. So the book itself is designed to educate and empower the reader and give them a path to follow where they can participate in this transformation. So it's a very logical book as well. The whole focus here is that we need to treat peace as a business, just like we treat war as a business. War is a business. Well, we need to make peace a business, run it like a business.
Well, how do you do that?
Well, with the same strategies, the marketing, the fundraising, the political influence, the metaphysical education involvement.
But that also involves.
If you go to a time for humanity, because it'll give you hope. There's something. There seems to be not as much hope these days, but mankind is crying in its soul for salvation, and yet we don't realize it's in our own hands. It's waiting for us. We have to open our heart. It's the only way we're going to survive.
Opening our hearts, that's a great message. Unfortunately, Kenneth, we've run out of time. Your book, The Way to World Peace, An Idea Whose Time Has Come, is available now at Amazon and other major booksellers. And for more information about Kenneth and his work, visit his website, atimeforhumanity.org. We'll also post links to Kenneth and his book on our website, shakeitofflive.com. Did I get that right, Kenneth? Is there any other websites or any other promos I should
No,
share?
atimeforhumanity.org.
Let's check out the website.
We have to shake off our violent tendencies.
Oh, I like that. That was a good one right there.
Shake it off.
That's a good one right there.
Somehow.
I like that one. That's a good one.
That was a perfect tie-in. Thanks for coming on the program, Kenneth. We really appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Next up,
Thank you.
Dana Michukichi. She's an author, journalist, and she's written the book, The Years of Living Dangerously. Her book blends memoir, reporting, and spiritual insight to explore how we grow through turbulent times. So it's imperative that you come back after the news at the top of the hour. You're going to have to suffer through a few commercial messages, but once that's all done, Mert, Ashley, Alex, Dana, along with the rest of the AM 970 team, will be waiting right here for you. We know you want it. We know you want to shake it off with us. Kenneth just did. We know you do. So please come back for hour 2 of Shake It Off with Merton Lucas Live. Lots more controversy, maybe some answers. Dana Michukichi will be back after the break about her new book and ready to guide us through a spiritual plot twist we should have seen coming.
preceding hour of programming, sponsored by Shake It Off Live, LLC.
For over 30 years, Point of Grace has shared music, faith, and friendship with listeners across the country. Now Denise, Lee, and Shelley are inviting you into their circle. Welcome to Circle of Friends, the podcast.
It's Point of Grace.
Each week they're talking real life, current events, stories of true friendship, wisdom from God's Word, and all their favorite things. If you're looking for a little company, a few laughs, and a lot of Jesus to hold it together, Circle of Friends, the podcast is waiting for you. Subscribe now wherever you listen or watch podcasts, and circle up with Point of Grace.